time has come again. The champion must stand. It can only be one of us. Victorious. So stand up and fight, my friend. There's a title you must defend. Shut it on and on. Bring it to me. Defend your movement.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to another edition of your favorite podcast.
I'm trying not to look at you.
This is the DYM podcast. You are the dimwits. You are Dimwit Nation. We cannot thank you enough for listening. I am Sean Donnelly. You know me as Dutch. I'm sitting here with the cool breeze right here. Right here. And our buddy, our pal, our movieophile, cinephile, filmophile, returning guest. He was here last week. We had a freaking blast. So we brought him back.
God, that was fun.
To the second half of this fun adventure. Gordon Baker Bone.
I can't wait to do this again. I can't wait to break some hearts.
Yeah, we've got the second half of the most rewatchable movie ever bracket. Hearts were broken. Friendships were broken. Podcasts have been finished. I fist fought Shawnee on the street afterwards. And Gordon Baker Bone threw popcorn at us the whole time.
I'll tell you right now, this is how we really do know that we love movies.
Yeah.
That wasn't bullshit from last week. There was
No.
true emotions that were going on.
Dude.
Like, I was really afraid of disappointing Andy.
You say it like we're past it.
So we will get to the rest of the bracket in a little bit, but Andy, you had something you want to talk about off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, I was excited for the bracket again, and in the downtime between weeks, I watched the Music Box HBO Max Woodstock '99 documentary.
Oh, but it was a little bit of an expose type situation, right?
I guess I think it was. Did either of you guys see it?
Not yet.
So it's a fun watch. It brings you back to 1999 very well. Like just the footage, the clothing, the styles, the bands, and the acts. And you just go, holy shit. This is because I was 20 in 99. And it's funny for me because, I remember I was literally touring with the band Fish. Like I was doing Fish tour that summer of 99.
Right up your alley in that time frame.
So, but here's the thing. Fish does their own festival for the most part of every summer. They'll do have enough of a cult following, not a 400,000 person Woodstock 99, but like a 75,000 person festival,
which is huge.
And in summer 99, they did one in Oswego, which on an Air Force base in upstate New York, literally days prior to Woodstock 99, which for the first time out of the 94 and 69 ones was on this Air Force base in Saugerty. I forget where 99 was, but upstate there, Rome, New York. It was Rome.
Yeah.
And so sweltering heat that summer. And I'm watching it with all the similarities. I'm going, yeah, we were on the fucking black, the same kind of stuff that's happening. And
you were having flashbacks?
Dude, yeah.
But
hard acid.
Was there a huge difference in because Woodstock 99 became a shit show? That
became a shit show. So here's the funny thing. At the end of Fish Tour, we're ending up in Indianapolis in this venue called Deer Creek in Indiana. And all these reports, this is before any sort of social media, obviously. It was before any sort of cell phones.
Right.
So if you weren't paying attention to really the news, it could have gone by you. Like David Cohn, I'm a huge Yankees game, pitched a perfect game a week before. We didn't find out for 4 days later until I called my parents. My mom was like, David Cohn pitched a perfect game. I was like, hey, what do you know? Like, that stuff instantly now.
Right.
So Trey actually came out. He goes, hey, we just got a call from the mayor of Oswego. He goes, hey, I wanted to thank you and all your fans for showing us how to actually put on a festival the correct way.
Oh, wow.
And not, your fans were so well behaved and did all this and that because, Woodstock 99 became like, this fucking sexual assault.
Like a riot.
Fires, riots, I think a lot of it was a little overhyped. Yeah, it was a shit show. But Fish then came out, the last song they encored with Woodstock, got to get back as like a fucking jab. So he was like, hey, I just wanted to say, you guys, we think you're the best fans in the world, and thank you for showing the larger picture, like what our scene is. And I was just like, that's pretty cool. But I wasn't at Woodstock 99, but I remember hearing all that stuff, being on like a parallel kind of
but like,
track.
at a properly run show.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it wasn't the massive numbers that a Fish Festival had, but still 75,000 is nothing like to sneeze at.
Not at all.
Yeah.
But you were still like, I was still camping in the fucking heat, dude. That summer was brutal.
Was one of the facts from the documentary that because the big thing was the mud people was a thing with all these people that like lived in the dirt, whatever it was.
Yeah,
And somebody
well-
had an internet clip like on TikTok or something. They were like, yeah, it was a shit show because that was actually shit that they were playing.
Yeah.
Like that
What?
was like, I think it was like fecal matter within the
So
dirt.
here's the
No.
porta potties overflowed within
Ugh.
like the first day because of so many people. Like the gates came down, so many more people showed up than were supposed to. So the facilities are not up to par with the amount of people they need to serve. A big thing for them was that they were, now remember, this is $99, $4 bottles of water, and it was also, it was still the same price as beer. There was like, so a lot of kids were like, yeah, it's $4 for a Bud Light or $4 for water. I'm just going to drink the Bud Light. And so tons of
That's
dehydration.
also $4 for a water is bodega prices now. But
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's insane for now,
yeah.
20 years later.
Yeah.
So people were unhappy. All of a sudden, you get that greed and that profit. You know, these young kids, it's all, for the most part, pretty much 18 to 24-year-old white dudes.
Yeah.
And a lot of tits in this documentary. Because, dude, I think there's a lot of the commenters were journalists, and they're really like kind of, I think, trying to have an agenda with it where they're going, yeah, it was just this time of this new metal and this aggressive kind of,
Like almost trying to excuse it
not excuse it, make it worse than it was.
or
where it's
make
like,
it sound way more
you've also,
melodramatic or something.
you've got Limp Bizkit and Fred Durst going up there. You guys had this fucking bad day like I've had today. I want you to break something. You're like, well, he's inciting a riot. So let's not make it more than it is. Fred Durst is just the fucking asshole.
yeah,
And
yeah.
like the promoters in the documentary, they're like, we went out to him after like 2 songs, spoken to him, we were like, hey man, can you make an announcement to like, hey, be cool to the women? Because like these girls would crowd surf and shit, and they just get their fucking
tits crap.
yeah, like they'd get
Jeez.
you know, which is obviously not cool in any.
No.
He was like, hey man, can you just make an announcement to like, hey guys, be cool to the women and just don't fucking touch them if they don't want to be touched.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, no problem. Like, didn't do that.
You fucking goof.
And then they did it to Red Hot Chili Peppers. This is like last day of the festival. People are starting to fucking light everything on fire because these people, the promoters, handed out candles, which was to be like a vigil
Yeah.
because they wanted to make like this to like as like a throwback to the 1969 festival of like
Yeah.
3 days of peace, love,
There's no going back.
and happiness.
No.
Yeah.
So you just gave these people basically these candles. People just started fucking burning everything. So the guy comes on again to Anthony Kiedis. He goes, after they finish, he goes, they're going to go up for their encore. He goes, man, can you just please make an announcement to be like, guys, please be cool. Don't burn anything. He doesn't. And they encore Jimi Hendrix's Fire. He goes, let me stand next to your fire. You go, jeez. I mean, which is hilarious. But like, multiple people died, like a ton of sexual assault. Like it was just a shit show. Aside from that, I didn't love the documentary because it was like, oh, you clearly want to just fucking, you know, look at the worst of it. I've heard now from other people on social media be like, yeah, that stuff is awful, but it wasn't as bad as the documentary made, which happens a lot with documentaries. You get one side of the person who's telling the story.
Now, was this just one part of the festival? Was there other parts of the festival where people were just acting
There was
like
so much.
normal?
Those are the only like things that stuck out to me. There's tons more to get into.
Yeah.
Was that the one that DMX was at?
Yes.
Yes.
They were actually like DMX had probably the best set of the festival because he, well, aside from like, what's the one? You don't even want to get into it.
They were trying to I know they were trying to get what's her name? From Do the Right Thing. Why can't I think of her name?
Oh, Rosie Perez.
Yeah, they were trying to get Rosie Perez to expose herself.
She comes out and she all of a sudden the crowd just goes, you just hear, show your tits. Show your tits. And Rosie Perez just going, I'm not showing you motherfuckers anything. So fuck you.
Well,
Not the
good for-
Stookie brothers.
Good for her.
yeah, but it was just like,
Why was she even there?
There was
I
a
guess it
lot
around
of-
her time.
Yeah,
She was
I
big.
guess. Yeah, 99.
If you look at the lineup, there was a lot of weird crossovers. You had like Korn and then like Sheryl Crow, like back to back. Just like
Yeah.
This was a weird time in music.
Yeah, don't get too eclectic, guys.
Yeah, I mean, no.
So
who
was
doesn't
it-
want to see those?
So
Exactly.
what was your? Yeah. Well, she also they
you can
probably
see him
did it
actually
because
do
she was in
do the right thing.
Yeah.
and do the right thing. She did, and also and
Above the rim. Not above the rim. White man can't jump.
and
That's what
she
I meant.
got
White Man Can't Jump, not do the right.
pressured into it. Like she
Yeah.
got heavily pressured into it.
Really?
Like it was a big deal for her. Like she was fucked up from it because I think Spike Lee like kind of just like intimidated her into doing it. I think she was young at that point still.
Yeah, she's super young.
Yeah.
Billy, the Stookies.
I told you my story about Rosie Perez on so this guy around the corner from me, he's an artist. Now he's like an installation artist, but he was a big graffiti guy back in the day. His name's Eric Hayes. And he goes by Hayes, and he's big. Like he's big, and he's the guy. He did like the Delicious Vinyl logo. He did the EPMD logo. Like he's a big deal. Anyway, he used to love my dog. I used to live around the corner from his shop. In Brooklyn, and I used to walk the dog all the time. I walked by him once. He goes, "Oh, hey, Rickles, what's up?" You know, whatever it is. Out of nowhere, he's like, babe, come over here. Some lady's by a car. She has a hat down. Whenever it is, she comes over, starts petting the dog. 2 seconds in, I'm like, aren't you Rosie Perez? Rosie Perez's husband is this guy. Like they're
Get
still
the
married.
fuck outta here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and he's like, the one and only. That's what he said. And I was like, oh, dude.
Shawnee was like, show your tits.
No way. She could not have been. She was so quiet. She was like,
you did
oh,
tell me.
hey, super quiet, whatever it was. She was like the Gilbert Godfrey of Puerto Rican actresses. No, that's how Gilbert Godfrey is. Like, he's like, and then if you meet him, he's like, hello?
Yeah, he's super quiet.
Super quiet. So it was pretty crazy because like he didn't ever. I knew this guy for like a couple of years, and he never once mentioned.
Never brought
Hey,
it
by the
up.
way, I'm married to Rosie Perez.
That'd be
Or at the
weird.
time they were dating.
That would be weird if like he let off with that.
Yeah, it would have.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
not, and he's a cool guy. Like he's not the type of guy to do that either. He's like old school hip hop guy.
Hey, how you doing? Do you know my wife?
Yeah.
You might have seen her
He's like,
boobs in.
Hey, I'm Eric. I'm married to Rosie Perez.
Hey, Rosie, I was at Woodstock 99. Good to see you again.
Just traumatized her even more. Jesus Christ. She was super nice and she was
yeah.
super
Yeah,
cool, but super reserved and quiet. And I'm like, oh, I see. It's like a character-ish type thing. Like you're not doing like, how you doing? She's not
Yeah,
doing that at
of course.
all. You
She's
know?
an avid boxing fan also.
Nice.
Yes, I've heard that as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, check it out. It's an interesting. It's very like nostalgic. You know, for me, I was doing the same kind of things in '99. I was 20. I was like right after my sophomore year or freshman year of college, and but yeah, just the way it was very agenda based in the making of it. Like they had this one journalist who was like clearly 10 years below, who definitely wasn't there.
Oh.
Just kind of, and she was just such a fucking wet blanket. Every time she came on screen, you're just like, ugh, because she was just like, yeah. And then they have a rave like all night with Moby playing. And do you guys think that's like a good idea to like have people up doing drugs? What do you think's gonna happen the next day? You're like, you're just a fucking frump.
Kind of an idiot. Yeah.
Like, yeah, people are having fun. Fuck all. Like, you just.
Well, I'll tell you, you have to have like a discerning eye with documentaries because they do have agendas
Yep.
sometimes.
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones that I don't know if I mentioned on the show. Did I even tell you about you guys know Roger and Me, the documentary?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was like, it kind of like lit the fire of like there was a
But
lot
that's
of famous
Michael Moore. It's
documentaries.
super agenda based.
But it was before people knew that about him. He was like the everyman hero, and his whole thing was he wanted to get interview with the guy Roger, whatever his name was, from GM because he was, and it was a legitimate reason. He was taking all the work, the factories in Michigan, and he was sending them to Mexico. And it was around the time it was happening in the 80s, and people he was like a underdog hero, and it built his career. Roger.
Yeah.
I found out years later, because the whole thing was, can I get this interview? I'm chasing him down. I'm finding him in St. Louis. I'm finding him here. And he won't talk to me. I told him why I want to talk to him. He won't talk to me. Won't talk to me. In the documentary, he never gets the interview. And he says, see, these big 1% fat cats. In reality, he got the interview.
Wow.
What?
And he never put it in the movie.
Yeah.
That's why Michael Moore is a jackass.
Totally.
Like, that's the thing. That's why you can't really trust. Not that I'm saying that documentaries don't have truth in them. A lot of them do. But that's the biggest example that blew my mind that I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, he painted
How
his
much
own
of a
picture.
jackass are you that you didn't put that interview in? But it wouldn't have been as much of a made it much of a
Success
splash
story,
because hey, he never got the interview. We're proving these guys are such assholes. They won't even talk to you about their workers or whatever. The plight of these unemployed people, whatever it is. So that's why I'm like, I totally get why there'd be a lot of bullshit with that one.
Yeah, of course. You're gonna make the story, tell the story you want to tell.
Absolutely.
But I don't know if I can hold back any further. We got to get into this thing.
All right.
Dude, I'll tell you
This
right now.
is a tough. Oh my God!
Right before we started, I said to Gordon, I said, I'm glad we did last week's and we have these ones now. This is like
This is.
talk about
I'm
Sophie's
scared.
choice. Holy
I know.
I think I'd rather
Especially if you look ahead, you go this potential matchup.
I feel like people hate me already, and they're already going to go play.
I think I'd rather give up my firstborn than answer some of these questions.
I know. Just take the kid. He'll live a better life.
I plead the fifth. I plead the fifth.
I
on
can't live in
both.
a world where I have to choose between Goodfellas and Godfather. I don't want my son to go, don't look at me.
I'm hideous. Don't look at me. Holy cow. Let's get into it, man.
All right.
Last week, let's do a little refresher. We can just tell people the winner from last week.
Yeah.
Just so everybody knows, one thing I want to say is, there was a lot of heartbreak last week, and but one of the the things that we have to remember is the theme of these brackets is most rewatchable movie. They're not saying best movie. They're saying, and what I was doing, my strategy last week was like, let me try to think, which one did I rewatch more in my life? Like that's the way I was going.
No, it's
and
hard to
sometimes
be
I upset myself. What?
It's hard to be objective.
It's hard to be objective. So you try your best. And what we came up with, I think we did, even with all the back and forth, we had a good pick from last week. The left side of this bracket, we went with Ocean's 11 as our winner as a group. We're doing popular vote wins. We're going to do the same thing again. And wow, boy, oh boy, we're going to start now because we really, really have a task in front of us.
Lord above.
Andy, do me a favor. Can you start with
This is, they should have like a festival where they have the ambulance parked outside just in case. Somebody get the paddles ready.
This will be blood like a UFC cage match.
I might need a drink after this.
Oh, man.
Wow,
Gordon, do you want to kick us off at the top right?
All right, here we go. This is, thank you for this one. Ghostbusters versus My Cousin Vinny.
Because it's one of the easiest ones.
Yes.
Yeah, thank God.
And I think we actually, I don't know if we're all on the same page.
I don't know what to think out of Gordon.
All right,
Gordon,
I'll go first. Ghostbusters.
Oh!
Yes.
You're Ghostbusters?
Of course.
My Cousin Vinny.
What?
Absolutely.
Rewatchable.
The first I like the second Ghostbusters
That's what I was
better
thinking also.
Shawty
than
don't-
the
yeah, they're
first
all
Ghostbusters.
on my page here. Do we even have to say it?
Do you want to jot it down?
No, I'll keep
Thank
track.
you.
Ghostbusters moving on.
Ghostbusters moving on. And the next one, Gordon?
Should be a layup.
Woo. Christmas Story versus Back to the Future.
This is one of,
It's not
This is a
as hard as, it's not as easy as you think.
for me it is.
For you it is.
It's my
I was like, all right, this is not hard, but the other is very rewatchable every single time. But I
Say it.
went with Back to the Future.
Back to the Future. This is a contender for me. You're
Echo
gonna
his
say-
Gordon's sentiments exactly.
Back to the Future.
You've probably watched. If you're 40 years old like me,
you watch-
I've watched it probably A Christmas Story 35 times.
Yeah, probably more than that.
Probably more than that because
Yeah.
you watch it once a year for Christmas. And
Exactly.
if you probably watch it, you sometimes watch it a couple times around Christmas.
You go to someone's house and it's playing, and you just sit down.
That
and
fucking Red Rider.
Yeah.
Ooh, baby. All right, BTTF. Moving on. Next, we have The Big Lebowski versus Toy Story.
This is an easy one for me. This is a layup.
Sure, for me too.
Yeah.
Lebowski.
I don't know
Yes.
what to think over Gordon.
Yeah, Lebowski. It's
All right,
Lebowski.
Oh,
I know someone's
now
looking at
this is the
I
first
just
real pickle.
Talking about rewatches, I just rewatched Lebowski recently, and the other thing about rewatchable is I think part of it is you're entertained while you're. It's not like you have it in the background. You're sucked in a little bit when you're rewatching, and it does it. I've seen it so many times, Lebowski, and it gets me. It still makes me laugh.
Here's the thing.
It's like Seinfeld episodes to me.
Here's the thing.
That's what rewatchable is.
Whoever did this, whoever put this bracket together, is a real cunt because they put all the Coen Brothers movies on one side of the bracket just to fuck with us.
Yeah.
They go, you couldn't put it one on the other side.
They knew what they were doing.
And so we have Fargo up against Caddyshack. Tough one.
It's a tough one. I'll tell you why. And because of what you just said, should we just fuck with them right away just to get rid of one of the biggest ones ever? Just right off the bat?
I'm staying true. I'm staying true to.
Yes,
to,
good.
to-
Stay true.
Yeah.
Gordon, what's your pick?
I went with Fargo.
And Andy?
Oh my God.
It's a hard one.
I've watched
Think about-
Caddyshack a billion times.
Yeah.
It's very quotable.
Yeah.
I even say Lebowski is the Caddyshack of movies for generations like us, because it's that same kind of quotable thing.
Yep.
What did you go with? I don't want to go.
It's upsetting. Here's the thing. It's really hard. It's really hard. But
really difficult.
I did a thing.
And this is like the first of. This isn't even.
This isn't even the hardest.
This is going to be a fucking slugfest.
I might throw a chair out the window.
I did a thing last week where I was like, let me think numbers wise.
Yeah, I got to think numbers.
I had to do that, and really the answer is Caddyshack for me.
You want Caddyshack?
I went Caddyshack.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I thought numbers. I've seen Caddyshack. more than I've
but
seen.
that doesn't take into account future and what you might watch more, right?
Ooh.
Think about it like that, because you go, yeah, I watched Caddyshack all the time when I was a kid. Fargo just wasn't available yet. Now, since Fargo's been on God's green earth, I've watched a shitload. I love it, and it's probably a top 10er for me.
Yeah.
Of all time.
I think Fargo is one of those.
So
things,
you sometimes just can't go by the numbers.
obviously Fargo is a way better movie, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is that Caddyshack to me is like, it's a thing where if you're putting the rewatchable label on it, it's Caddyshack.
I gotta go Caddyshack.
Because if you're going,
I have to. I love Fargo more, but if we're doing the true rewatchability, Caddyshack's on. I go, I gotta see Dangerfield.
All right.
Absolutely. And then because I think rewatchable has a little mist of the word fun in there. Like when you put Fargo, it's a heavy movie.
It is a heavy movie.
So don't get me wrong. Is it a better movie than Caddyshack? 100%. But what is happening is when I think rewatchable, I think like, oh, this will be fun to rewatch, like that kind of thing. So
here comes one. Here comes a big one.
This is a.
All right, do you want me to say it? I don't think I've said one yet.
Yeah, you go ahead.
We got one right here, and I know what my pick is, and I think
do 3 fucking.
This might be
a
friendship ender right here.
I know. That's why I thought ahead.
The next one is Groundhog Day versus Raising Arizona, and I think I know what's going to win. I know Andy's pick on this.
Yeah, it's Raising Arizona for me. It's my favorite Coens. I can rewatch this movie way more than Groundhog Day for me. I love Groundhog Day, but it's not as rewatchable for me as a lot of people.
No. It's not.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. I'll watch it all the time.
I knew it was going to win.
Yes.
I knew it was going to win.
Raising Arizona every single
GBB!
time. Yes.
I'll tell you right now, you guys should be ashamed of yourself.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you, Ocean's 11.
Not because it's a blown out of the water.
Now you know how I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. But here's the thing. Groundhog Day is one of the most rewatchable movies there is out there. It's now I knew Raising Arizona would win. I think it's a better movie, but Groundhog Day to me, also Groundhog Day was the thing that was appreciated later on. The whole article about how it would be nominated for an Oscar. If it came out 15 years later,
by the way,
Oscar winning.
How well represented is Nick Cage on this list? You go, man, homie.
Well, he had such a career.
I
That's
know.
what's going on. And now he's doing Christian pilot movies.
Oh, man, this is another tough one.
No, now he's doing
Gordon,
Big,
you want to take us?
This was hard, and I know people are going to be very surprised about this one. Office Space versus Blazing Saddles, and I'm just going to get it out of the way. I love Blazing Saddles. I think it's a great film. I will rewatch it all the time, but I'm Office Space. I love it. I quote it all the time.
Man.
I throw it on all the time.
It's a tough one. But I'm going to try and think. I did numbers again. Blazing Saddles. And
I love Office Space. But I love Blazing Saddles more.
Ooh.
And I think I've
Same
watched
here.
Blazing Saddles way more.
I also talk about Andy brings up my dead dad last episode. If you listen, that's a dead dad.
Don't worry.
Right there.
Don't worry. My dad's gonna come down from heaven too. There's gonna be one in here where I'm gonna have to really make a hard choice because of my dad. You just wait.
Oh, man.
All right,
next
so
one-
Saddles is moving on. This
This next one's hard for me. This next one's
is.
hard for me. Is
God,
this
the Coens, he's got them all in one bracket.
I hate this. Whoever made this bracket
Is a
an
real
asshole.
dick.
Yeah.
I know which one I'm. You know what?
Read 'em
You
off.
know what they're doing? You know what? It's very carefully picked because they're putting like a classic comedy next to a Coen Brothers.
Yes.
They know
Yeah.
that you have to go. Oh, they know.
Some mad diabolical scientist put this thing together.
The next one is, I hate to say it, Dumb and Dumber versus Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? And Gordon, let's go to you. Make the pick.
His old brother out though. I dig that movie. I watched them I literally bought it multiple times. I have it on DVD. I own it through Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
So
I went to the numbers on this one. Andy, I want to hear your pick.
Well, here's the thing. Again, it's you got to take into account older movie, Dumb and Dumber, which I love and I've seen a billion times. fuck, this
Yeah,
one's
but you
hard
have
too.
enough years that if one was rewatchable, but they were only off by like one was 95,
94 to
one was
like
2000,
01.
or whatever it is. Yeah.
02 maybe.
Yeah.
So
I think it's
7. Yeah.
Oh,
we watch movies so much, you know which one, because also it's a vibe. Like it's a thing that you're looking at. If it's not just didn't come out last year, then you know which one you're jumping to quick or rewatchable was.
I got it. Here's the thing. I love Oh Brother. I love it. But I have to go Dumb and Dumber on this one just because of pure rewatchability.
Okay.
And I've watched Oh Brother like multiple days in a row. It'll be on like AMC like over Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Like it'll be on like Wednesday at noon. On Thursday at like 3, it'll be on again. I'll be like, I guess I'll just watch it again.
Yeah.
So like I've watched it a shitload, but I gotta stay with Dumb and Dumber.
This is a close one on the number, even with the numbers method.
Yeah.
This is a close one, and Dumb and Dumber. I went Dumb and Dumber.
Okay. All right.
But I feel
Tough
the same
one.
way Andy does with it, where you're like, oh, it's
Another fucking tough.
You want to talk about rewatch? You know?
What
The next
asshole
one
put together
sucks.
this side of the bracket?
But the next one is actually for me.
Yeah,
it's a
I
tough
think I know
one
the
movie wise, but for me, I know what I'm doing.
It's Billy Madison versus Blues Brothers. Both movies I've watched a billion times.
Me too.
For me, I
Shawnee
have
thinks
not watched Blues Brothers as much as Billy Madison. Billy Madison holds a special place in my. Fucking love it, and I also think I watched it semi recently as well. Billy Madison takes the cake on that one.
Same here.
Both of you good? Oh,
Yeah.
well, Blues Brothers. I did not expect that out of you two.
Really?
Really?
Because we're older.
I just. Well, here's the thing. That older doesn't necessarily mean because we're both probably, I want to say, 15 when Billy Madison hit hard.
Yeah.
So you're just like,
Perfect.
that's that was like right my mentality.
Yep.
I fuck it.
All right.
It's just, I love Blues Brothers, man. And if it's on, I watch it. But I got to give it up to Billy Madison. I got to give it to Billy Madison.
Next one's a biggie, but it's not. It has a clear winner to me. Next one is Goodfellas versus Usual Suspects. Gordon?
Goodfellas.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, I knew we'd all do that.
It's a tough one because Usual Suspects, even though it's got that twist and like,
Yes.
it's still very rewatchable.
very rewatchable.
Watch that scene
It's
all
a
over
good-
and over and over and over again.
It's a good matchup,
Yeah.
but Goodfellas definitely takes the cake. on that
100%.
one. Andy, you should get the next one because I know one you love a lot.
Yeah, this one's really tough. It's
Actually, no, you love both a lot. This is the tough one for you, right?
Yeah, I like Dazed and Confused a lot, but for me, it's Cool Hand Luke. It's maybe my second favorite movie of all time. I can watch Cool Hand Luke over and over again. I fucking love it, and I'm really scared that it's going down.
Andy has
Dazed
no
and Confused.
representation of this game, Gordon.
Dazed and Confused for me
I know.
is like, if I don't love Richard Linklater shit outside of really Dazed and Confused, that to be honest. And Dazed and Confused is very nostalgic for me, and it is rewatchable, and I've watched it a shit.
One of Tarantino's favorite movies.
Really?
Yep.
All right, are you trying to sway the jury here?
No, I already got mine down. I'm putting it on Sean. I love Dazed and Confused.
Yeah.
I watched that movie 1,000 times.
too.
It every single time it's on, it's staying on. I'm sitting down, I'm watching.
You ever seen Cool Hand Luke?
No.
See, I had a feeling because it's a fucking masterpiece.
You'd still go with Dazed and Confused.
Really?
You've only seen it once.
I've seen
That's
it
why. Here's the thing. I knew this was going to lose because this motherfucker, like a month ago, has been going, hey, I've been lying to you this whole time. I know you love Cool Hand Luke, but I just watched it for the first time. So if we're talking about rewatchability movies, like, this guy's only got one in his fucking pocket.
So Dazed wins on that
Well, I'm not going to be
I'm
good.
sorry, buddy.
So it's got a long...
one. Ooh, even the next one. I'm gonna
Oh, this is fucking rough.
This is a tough one, man. Holy shit. Christ on the cross.
This is really hard.
Boogie Nights versus Rocky?
Boogie Nights versus Rocky is the next one.
That's insane.
I'm gonna you're gonna hate my
I don't think
Get it.
what? What are you going for?
I know what he's going with.
I'm
Gordon.
going with Boogie Nights.
I know that's what he's going with too. So Boogie's not moving on either way.
What'd you say? Boogie Nights versus Rocky?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're going Boogie.
Boogie.
I actually wrote Boogie Nights. If you know how hard that is for me,
I've rewatched Boogie Nights way more than I write.
I've seen Rocky 8 billion times.
So
And this one I went, but watch back. What is more enjoyable to me watching back, I think, is Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights.
Because it is
More
it's a
interesting.
better movie.
It's
I think Rocky's, but here's the thing.
Rocky 3 is my favorite Rocky 3, and I've rewatched
Yeah.
it every single time. I think that's the only Rocky I actually own.
Rocky 3?
Yeah.
Yeah. This one Boogie Nights I love.
Side. We're talking dead dads. This next matchup.
Oh, Oh, the next one is
Read it all.
tough for you.
Not
It's-
tough for me,
Yeah. Oh, it's not.
but I think I'm worried.
Oh, you.
This one holds a special place in my heart.
Oh, I'm sorry, man.
I know.
I'm sorry.
Almost Famous versus The Sting.
Almost Famous versus The Sting.
This guy is such a good matchup maker because I think it's like he fucking saw what emotionally plays on me, and then he goes, yeah, but I'm going to throw this fucking monkey wrench into the whole system.
Dance, puppet, dance.
Yeah, The Sting was maybe the first movie that me and my father loved together. You know when like you find a movie with somebody close to you.
Of course.
It was like the first because especially my dad was super old, so
And your
our
dad was
tastes,
also not a big movie watcher. So
Yeah.
it's a big deal.
so our tastes were far apart. I'd love this, and he'd like these older things. And so when we both found The Sting, that was our first one. So I've watched it 8 million times.
but for the purposes of rewatchability bracket,
I think for over Almost Famous any day, man.
what?
I don't know. Almost
Which one did you pick?
The Sting.
Oh, and Gordon?
I hate Almost Famous. I couldn't say.
Whoa! Oh my God! What an upset!
To be very honest with you, I can't. I saw Almost
I
Famous. I was
agree.
like, no.
I think it's a little overrated.
Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Andy.
I tried multiple
I
times.
think
Woo!
Andy's dad is with us right now. I did
Papa
not
Bear.
expect that to happen.
Good looking out, big
We
man.
can't get into it, but in 2 words, can you tell me why you hate Almost Famous, or in a couple of words?
I just got
Overrated?
it just didn't grab me. I was just sitting there, just like, this is boring. I can't do this. I tried.
Wow.
I tried.
Especially on rewatches for me, man, because I loved it when it first came out. And if we're talking rewatchability, I will flip the channel on Almost Famous for me.
No.
I don't need to stick around. It gets a little corny with the whole Band-Aid thing and like I'm out on it at this age in my life.
I dig it. I think it's like Billy Crudup. I
Fiori.
like in it. And, I just rewatched it recently. So wow, what a shocker! This thing survives.
Sting moves on.
Wow. Oh my God, Gordon. Andy is so excited right
I'm
now.
happy.
What's the next one, Andy?
The next one is a very easy one for me. We talked about
All right,
this
it's
last
easy
week's
for all of
episode.
us.
I think it's easy for all of us.
Pulp Fiction versus the Departed.
Pulp Fiction just takes the cake.
Yeah.
Pulp
We just talked about
Fiction.
last week. We were talking about how The Departed is not aging well, not living up, is not a Scorsese winner.
Pulp's a contender, man.
the
Pulp's
Pulp-
like a number 2 seed.
Pulp's a biggie.
It's got title hopes.
Pulp's definitely a biggie. The next one is
Easy for me.
are they doing a Nicholson matchup? Chinatown versus A Few Good Men.
Gordon?
A Few Good Men.
Ooh, I went Chinatown, Johnny.
I've only seen Chinatown once.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Few Good Men, and I
Yeah.
think as far as like, I'm not this one. This whoever wins this one is gonna get knocked out anyway for me. So
Same.
for my pick,
Yeah.
so the Few Good Men, I feel like I want to watch that more. I know.
This next matchup is funny, The Godfather versus LA Confidential, because speaking of, if you guys listen back a few episodes, I just watched LA Confidential for the first time.
Yeah,
Like last month.
and
And it was great, but I mean, it's The Godfather.
But it's
sorry.
it's The Godfather, and also like you know, a rainy Sunday. Talk about a rewatchable. You're parked for 4 hours, just like re-experiencing The Godfather is like a thing. It's a thing, man. It's more of like a whole day thing. It's and it has a much better like lineage and complete like mood than LA Confidential is just like a cool movie.
Yeah.
Like, you can't match these up.
Yeah.
No.
And rewatchability
I'm
and film.
surprised LA Confidential actually made this list. It doesn't
Exactly.
seem like after watching it for the first time, like a movie I could rewatch over and over again. Like a lot of these, I'm like, yeah, I can't fucking. I've seen. It makes you think about how much time.
Do people really watch LA Confidential over again?
I don't
that's what I'm
think-
saying.
I think they
I
maybe
wanna
just
know.
threw it in. Who knows?
All right.
I think they're just going by like this certain time frames, like
Okay.
90s, and then like the really old ones people put on cable and stuff like that.
This next
So
one.
the next one is big, but the next one to me is
I don't think
not
this
that
is
they're
a
not
matchup.
both rewatchable, but
We're gonna run into some problems down the road.
one
with
of
this
them might be the winner. One of them might be the winner. For
Yes.
It's Shawshank versus Catch Me If You Can.
I mean, who's picking Catch Me If You Can? Let's
All
be
right,
honest.
come on, let's go.
Seriously.
Yeah, Shawshank.
What are we doing here?
Let's go to let's get back on top, baby.
All right, we have Ghostbusters versus Back to the Future.
And now
To
this
me,
is
it's a
wrong.
This is
no-brainer.
gonna be Sean might get his heart broken here.
Oh, get out of here, guys! Don't do it! Don't you do it! Don't you do it! Isn't that like a Richard
Gordon?
thing from?
Back to the Future.
Yes.
Woo! Well, it moves on anyway. That's
Oh.
2 votes.
What'd you say?
I know he's Back to the Future. That's a tough one. Ghostbusters versus Back to the Future. I by the numbers have seen Ghostbusters more. Rewatchability. I think personally it's Ghostbusters for me. Not taking anything away from BTTF.
Okay, well, BTTF
But it moves on.
wins that one. Our next matchup be
This is rough.
This is Big Lebowski versus Caddyshack.
Yep.
What are we doing?
wow, that's hard. That's really hard. I have to think of.
Oh my God, dude.
I know what it is for me. It's Big Lebowski.
It's Big Lebowski for me.
Yeah.
Well, we have our winner, but
What do you?
it's kind of nice to not even have to think about it. Takes the pressure because it hurts my head to have to choose. Like, I will sit down and watch both of these movies over and over again.
Yeah, but I know that
And I
I
think
know
I-
I've rewatched Big Lebowski more than I enjoy it more now. Than,
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Caddyshack is. But if you put. But really, like a true matchup, you put them up against. They're on at the same time.
They're on.
I'm going a Big Lebowski.
Yeah.
I
That's a
enjoyed
good
it.
way to put it. If they're on at the same time, ooh, that's a great
That's
test.
basically. Yeah, it's a great. That's when it comes down to the line.
Ooh. Well, you might be surprised on this one.
Next.
Raising Arizona versus Blazing Saddles. This is a very tough one. Very, very tough
Very
one.
tough. I'm gonna.
This
make
is
my
another
pick.
emotional one for me.
Yeah. For me, Blazing Saddles edges it out for me.
Yeah.
'Cause
me
I've
too.
rewatched it more.
I went with Raising Arizona.
I'm so close to
You got to do the pick. Tiebreaker.
Again.
You got off scot-free the last one. Let's hear it.
Blazing Arizona.
Blazing
Blazing
Arizona.
Arizona.
in a perfect world.
The new Cheech and Chong movie, Blazing Arizona.
After The Sting, when I got a little older, was allowed to watch stuff. Me and my father both adored Blazing Saddles.
Oh wow.
What are we getting this whole biography?
I'm just saying. That's the clincher for me.
But it might put you over the top there. For which one?
Oh my God, dude.
He's walking
Make
us
the
around his
pick.
childhood home.
Yeah, it's Blazing Saddles.
All right.
Moving on, we have Dumb and Dumber versus Billy Madison. I'm locked and loaded.
Dumb and Dumber
Big
versus-
comedy matchup.
Yeah, big comedy matchup actually makes sense. These two matchups make sense. And
This guy
I
was
know
very
mine.
methodical.
I know mine.
Gordon?
If it's between those two, I'm going Billy Madison.
Me too.
Really?
Me
You too?
Over Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, I would have gone Dumb and Dumber.
Woo!
Wow, I'm shocked. I thought you guys, I've watched Dumb and Dumber more than Billy Madison, even though I love Billy Madison.
It's hard for me not even to just drop Norm Macdonald quotes.
Dumb and Dumber, I was dying. I just rewatched
Up next
it.
at 6, a millionaire's son bribes his way through cross. Billy? Norm Macdonald goes, now, it might be somebody else.
What's the next one?
We have Dazed and Confused versus Goodfellas. You had a nice run, Dazed and Confused.
Suck it, Linkletter.
I mean, do we even have to vote?
No, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Boy, Goodfellas has to be the number 1 seed in this bracket. Moving on. Boogie Nights versus The Sting. Holy hell.
It's Boogie Nights for me.
Gordon?
Boogie Nights.
Boogie Nights winning.
Oh man, this is good. Great.
Even though the emotional connection, I would probably choose Boogie Nights as well. Now we get into some real, well, not even this one, but Pulp Fiction versus A Few Good Men. I think we're all.
I think we're all
here.
agreement on that one.
Yeah, Pulp. Now here is a tough one: The Godfather versus The Shawshank Redemption.
Holy shit.
I know, dude.
Oh my God.
I'm-
I think you start recounting times you
Yeah.
watched it and how you felt like individually, you know what I mean? Like, I think I'm going to surprise my answer. I know my answer. I know what it
Surprise
is. Because I know what I've watched more.
Who you want to go first? Who's going first?
Andy had a tough choice. Gordon, go first.
All right. Between the two, what I watched the most was The Godfather.
Ooh, okay.
But
Yeah, but it's not based on numbers.
yeah, it's not based on numbers. It's like what if they're both wrong? Which one I watch? It's Shawshank.
Okay.
Ooh,
I feel the
teased
same way.
it. He played possum.
I'm in the Gordon boat. Shawshank.
Shawshank's moving on.
Shawshank's moving.
Wow.
Yeah.
I
think
like when you guys go. I don't have to decide.
I think if you had it has that when it Godfather
it's
it goes,
Sophie's choice.
It goes under that canopy. It goes under that canopy of rewatchable. Shawshank does win.
I
does
don't
win.
know. I don't
Because
know, man. For me personally, I think they are so hard to choose, but I think Godfather edges it out for me.
Okay.
Because Godfather's another one of those like Thanksgiving. So is Shawshank. They're usually on back to back.
Yeah.
They're always on.
Always.
All right, we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Back to the Future versus Big Lebowski. Sean, let's start with you motherfucker.
Back to the Future versus Big Lebowski.
This one for me is a pretty easy one.
Is it easy for you?
Lebowski for me.
I think it's good. I think mine. I'm going to say Back to the Future because I've watched that way more. It's It's
but
such
more
a big part of my
rewatchable
life.
between the two. That's what
Ba-
you have to think about.
Back to the Future.
Oh,
Back to the Future for me has that tinge.
For
to
me,
it.
it's Lebowski.
I love Back to the Future, and it's Back to the Future.
Oh!
What an upset! Wow.
Yeah.
Billy Madison versus Blazing Saddles.
Oh, I know what wins on mine.
Well, say it then.
Billy Madison. Sorry.
Billy Madison for you?
Yeah.
It's Blazing Saddles for me.
Oh my God! Why do you guys have to do this to me? Holy fuck!
Yeah.
Saddles versus Madison. God damn it!
Oh, yeah. Only got one TV.
Two of my favorite comedies of all time. Emotional connection. Wow, I love Billy Madison so much. God damn it. This is going to kill me.
Andy.
I'm going Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddles.
Yeah.
Wow. I'm okay with Blazing Saddles moving on. Billy Madison,
Well, that's
I
the
do
thing.
love. Yeah.
I'm happy with most of these one way or the other because that's movies I love.
Yeah.
But that's why it just comes down to a lot of times for me, which I love more. All right. Buckle up, gang. 'Cause these next two, I mean, wars have been started over less.
Yes.
This is the Helen of Troy of movie matchups.
Goodfellas versus Boogie Nights.
Oh, I got my answer.
Yeah,
I have
me
my
too.
Answer. I know mine.
Me too.
Do you want me to go first?
I'll go first.
Oh, go ahead.
This film just has a fond place in my heart, and it's Boogie Nights.
Whoa! It's fantastic. I respect the choice.
Yep.
But for me, rewatchability, I go back to it. It's been on every freaking channel on the dial. Goodfellas does it for me.
Same.
Yeah.
With
Goodfellas, all right.
pretty much the same explanation.
Yeah.
Goodfellas is a really tough one to beat. And Boogie Nights I love, but sometimes, as many times as I've watched Boogie Nights, if I'm not in the right mood, I got to go, I can't watch that shit right now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
You
you're
have to
right.
be in the mood. You have to be in the mood for
There's
Boogie Nights.
And I
some
love
dark
it.
shit in Boogie Nights.
Yes.
Was it You Still My Friend at jail?
Yeah.
Oh my God. And then he gets, but Goodfellas I can watch in almost any state.
Yeah,
you
I'd
know?
rather watch a mailman go into the oven than have to watch the pedophile scene from Boogie Nights.
If one letter gets back to that kid,
Into the
buckle up,
fucking oven
gang.
you go.
Buckle up here, because we got Pulp Fiction versus The Shawshank Redemption.
I know my answer.
Oh my God.
I know mine. Should I say it?
Say it.
Rewatchability?
Ah,
Oh,
I'm
actually, you know what?
nervous.
All right, Andy, you go first because you didn't go first.
Wah! I just went last. I had to pick between. Oh,
yeah.
my God.
This is. You only got one TV. Only got one damn TV. And you could pick between Shawshank.
They're both. I like the both on at the same time. Yeah.
One TV. What am I watching? I know. Actually, I just changed my mind. I know exactly.
Oh
what I'm
my
picking.
God.
I know what I'm picking. I'll do it. Pulp Fiction.
Me too.
I went with Shawshank.
Oh,
It's so hard. It's
that's
so
one of the
hard.
hardest.
Yes.
That's one of the hardest ones because Shawshank. If you had an example of a movie that's played on cable the most, I think it sure was like maybe when cable was a thing.
Yeah.
Was Shawshank was the go-to
Still is.
rewatchable movie
it's
on cable.
I still have cable,
TBS.
and it's
Yeah.
still on all the time.
Yeah.
and I
But-
watch it all the time.
But if I did the matchup, they're on at the same time. Pulp Fiction, I'm going to.
That's what it came down to for me.
Yep, absolutely. Same here.
All right, we are getting down into the Elite Eight of this round. Back to the Future versus Blazing Saddles. I know, I'm locked in.
I know
so if you want
mine.
me to go first.
Go ahead, yeah.
Blazing Saddles.
All right, I'm Back to the Future.
I'm Back to the Future also.
Wow, I
Back to
can't
the Future
believe-
is big.
Back to the
Like
Future.
I've seen it so many times. I think it's rewatchable as well as being like in the DNA of my childhood.
Yeah, that's how I felt about Jaws. It's like I know every single line in Blazing Saddles can go along with the movie. I can't do that for Back to the Future. Same thing for Jaws. I'm annoying to watch it with.
Yeah.
But I don't have that for Back to the Future. But it's popular vote here. Cool Breeze was overvoted. Moving on. I mean, Jesus Christ. Goodfellas versus Pulp Fiction.
That's a biggie. That's a biggie.
I
but
know.
I know mine.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say mine first, so you guys can just fight.
I think we're actually
I think we're on the same page.
And
Pulp Fiction.
No.
No.
Goodfellas.
Yeah, Goodfellas.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And
Yeah.
that's very hard because we both love Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, Goodfellas wins
surprised,
on that one for me.
Reservoir Dogs in on this.
I know.
You couldn't have thrown that in over
They're
LA
throwing in a million
Yeah,
different Coen brothers, but no,
No.
no Reservoir Dogs.
All right.
They have
The
Kill
final
Bill.
four is complete. Just to recap, we had Ocean's 11 versus Gladiator. That still boggles my mind. Versus Back to the Future versus Goodfellas.
Oh, wow.
Now, I know mine in this one. I know who I'm sending to the final. If you want me to say it first, this matchup was Goodfellas versus Back to the Future. It's Goodfellas for me every goddamn day of the week.
Goodfellas versus Back to the Future.
I've watched Goodfellas close to 1,000 times.
Same.
Goodfellas
Yeah.
wins. Goodfellas wins. Okay, good. That's a good pick.
You did the right thing, Sean.
So it's Goodfellas versus Back to the Future.
Uh,
That's what it
no,
was?
Yes.
Good.
Yeah. Okay.
Now it's Goodfellas versus Ocean's
Ocean's
11.
11.
This is an easy one for me.
I know. You're
I like how both of the films that we have in the final happens around mafia. Wait.
Kind of. One's
no.
a heist, one's mafia.
One heist. Yeah, I got that fucked up.
I'm sure there's mafia related things in Ocean's 11.
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, so I'm gonna go for I know my answer on this. As far as rewatchable goes, because so here's the thing. My pick, I'm not even sure what your pick is. I don't even know.
Nope.
My pick, besides the fact that Goodfellas, my pick is Goodfellas. First off, that's out of the gate right here. But I'll tell you why. Because it's substantial and it has for me as much rewatchability as Ocean's 11 has. Yeah. Ocean's 11 is one of, but what it because what you do with Goodfellas is you're kind of getting just like a supercharged version of a rewatchable movie. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like one of those things where oh my God, I'm getting Scorsese and I'm getting a thing I'll watch 1,000 times in a row.
Can I add something onto this? Because Goodfellas is my pick as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
You quote Goodfellas. I don't quote Ocean's 11. That also goes a long way for me in movies like this. We're talking about rewatchability.
Yeah.
Quoting stuff that actually is in my lexicon and my my vocabulary.
Yep.
A lot of Goodfellas.
Absolutely.
And I don't do that at all with Ocean's 11. Ocean's 11 got further than I thought. It's a great rewatchability movie.
It's huge. It makes sense. Those are the matchup.
I'm almost glad, Gordon, that it didn't have to be Jaws versus Goodfellas, because that would have been tough for me. I would have probably taken Jaws in the end.
You would have?
Really?
Like I'm saying, I'm glad it didn't have to come to that.
Yeah.
But I'm glad when I looked at all this, I kind of thought Goodfellas would be the winner.
Yeah.
So Gordon, what was your pick?
My pick was going to be Goodfellas.
Okay, all right.
I'm glad we all agreed
Yeah.
on the end.
But I was a little bit surprised because I know last week you were a huge proponent
Yes.
of Ocean's 11.
Ocean's 11 is one of my favorite films, but it's more of a fun roller coaster ride that you like when you're like a little bit younger. Goodfellas is like something I could rewatch. I think forever.
It's evergreen.
Yeah.
It's going to keep going and
Yeah.
going. Yeah. And Ocean's 11, I still enjoy, but I don't tire of Goodfellas. I can tire of Ocean's 11.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
I need space between it. If
Yeah.
I was on you want to do a deserted island thing, I'm bringing Goodfellas.
Yeah.
I'm,
Yes.
that kind of thing.
that's a good way to do it too. The desert island.
Yeah. But so I think our pick, our number one pick, who
Nice.
wins the champion of the bracket, is Goodfellas. I think that's a
1990
great.
Martin Scorsese.
I think it has
Nero.
quality and it also has rewatchability. I think we did an amazing job.
Yeah.
I think it had a lot of tough matchups. I think it had a way harder course than Ocean's 11 did. I'll tell you right
Yeah.
now.
Back to the Future made it to the final four.
It should have.
It adds a lot of upsets.
No.
I know there's going to be a ton
St.
of people
Mary's
mad about that.
versus Duke.
There's going to be a ton of people mad about Back to the Future.
I think so.
You're looking at one of them.
Back to the Future. Absolutely. But guys, just so you know, everybody out there, all the dimwits, we are going to be posting the bracket online on our Twitter, on our Instagram stories, so that you guys can see our picks. And also, we want you guys to do your picks.
We won't post it till after because
We'll post it after the episode, obviously. But we'll post the blank one. You guys fill it out. We want you guys to message us or tweet or
Tweet your
Instagram
matchups. Tweet who your winners would
or
be.
story your picks.
Or better way, fill it out and snap a pic and tweet at us that way.
Tweet at us that way,
Be a pain in the ass to do.
or do a story on Instagram
that
at the DYM podcast. Tag us so we can share your pick on the account.
You destroyed the bracket.
He's got so mad.
You forget. You're like, all right, I gotta walk out of here and take a deep breath. It's just fucking movie.
Gonna hug a
What am I
jaw.
doing with my life?
But that's why, man, that's why this is so much fun.
It's
You
so
really
much fun. I
you
love
do get heart palpitations.
I love but March Madness is too is like my favorite thing on earth. I love the brackets
It's a
so
mix of
much. It's
two.
my favorite thing to fill out. I do 4 every year. So any sort of bracket decisive system, I love.
I feel like my mom's gonna listen to this. Like, why didn't you go with Blazing Saddles all the way?
It's also a movie that'll never be made again.
Nope.
Something like that.
Ever again.
Ever again. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Like I said, at the DYM podcast on both platforms, Instagram and Twitter. Please follow at the Laugh Button. Gordon, please let them know where they can find you online.
At Baker Bone on Instagram and Twitter, BakerBone. I have a podcast called The Bad Advice Show. Check it out. Also, I'll be at Comics at the Mohegan Sun August 19th through the 21st.
Yeah.
And Andrew Fiors.
I am at Andy Fiori, at Andy, ANDYFIORI, AndyFiori.com for tickets. September 17th to the 18th, Wisecrackers in Pennsylvania. Please come out. we don't know how that one's going to go. Will Poconos. Yeah. Thank you, Gordon, again for coming out.
Yeah,
2
absolutely.
week in a rower.
I am at Show Anytime on Instagram and Twitter. Also, check out at Mike V. Suarez. Mushy Mike.
Mushy Mike.
Buster Palm, you know him as. Thank you so much to Laugh Button for having us. Thank you so much to Mike. Thank you so much to our guest for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah.
The incomparable Gordon Baker Bone.
You're very welcome.
Fantastic.
Don't be too mad at me.
Not mad at all.
I already forgot.
This was an absolute blast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Follow, rate, and review. Subscribe, rate, and review, I should say. That's what they say in the pods.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you so much, and we'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Peace.